and welcome to this video presentation for Project Assignment A. We will conduct a study of prison inmates in state and federal correctional facilities. The studies will be based on two separate datasets containing current and former inmates. One of the datasets contains information about inmates currently and formerly sentenced to the death penalty. This information includes criminal history, personal characteristics, the last words, the last meal, and so forth. Studies show that prisoners who deny guilt are 2.7 times as likely to decline a last meal than people who have admitted, 29% versus 8%. So there seems to be a correlation between the guilty versus the innocent prisoners sentenced to death and the last meal which they request, with the guilty prisoners oftentimes requesting lavish and abundant last meals, and the innocent requesting nothing at all or the same meal as other inmates. The meal you see here is the last meal of serial killer Ted Bundy. And the meal you see here is the last meal of the lesser-known Philip Workman, who denied any admittance of guilt in the shooting of a police officer in connection to a botched armed robbery, a case in which the evidence linking Workman to the shooting was never conclusive. We will profile the typical executed inmate and examine if the last meal in connection to the criminal history and the personal characteristics can suggest if a possible prisoner sentenced to death and executed might be innocent. Then we will perform a principal component analysis to determine if there are any hidden patterns in the data and what that might entail. Furthermore, we will perform a sentiment analysis on the last words of the, for all intents and purposes, innocent prisoners compared to the guilty prisoners. The second and much larger dataset will contain surveyed information of 11,569 male and 2,930 female inmates incarcerated between October 2003 through May 2004, willing to provide information about current offense and sentence, criminal history, family background, personal characteristics, prior drug and alcohol use, and so forth. The information will be used in an interactive display in which users can choose from a set of properties like height, sex, race, state, and so forth. And then they will see the crime they are most likely to commit based on analyzing these properties in the dataset. Both the death row inmate analysis and the interactive and dynamic display for finding your crime will be presented on a website which will be publicly accessible. This was our presentation for Project Assignment A. Thank you for listening.